Hey guys, what's up? This week's video is gonna be about my IBS. It's great. If you've been watching, keeping up, I did get a colonoscopy. I've had stomach problems. It's not new, but then when nothing came up, they diagnosed me with IBS. So that's great. Recently, I decided to try the FODMAP diet, and it's a specific diet specifically for IBS of foods to avoid and eat that apparently helps get your intestines back into their regular rhythm. I don't know. I figured I'd try it out. Upon looking up a whole bunch of stuff, there's not really a whole lot of videos on IBS, like how personally they're taking care of it. There's not a whole ton of that. So I thought, well, who has a vlog? Me. Who has IBS? Me. Who would want to do it? Me. So, guess what I'm doing? This. So, I decided that I'm going to make a video explaining the FODMAP diet and some things that I'm doing specifically for it, how I'm personally managing my IBS, and kind of just like what I find is helpful for my stomach problems, because alongside of that, I'm lactose intolerant and I also have really bad GERD. So managing all three of those together is difficile. So, welcome back. I hope you enjoy. For those of you who don't have IBS, welcome to how crappy it is. It's terrible. Those of you who do, I'm so sorry. It is. So, here's how I do it. First, let's talk about food. So, I recently started the low FODMAP diet. I have a sheet over there that has a whole list that I'll show you. It's basically certain sugars that are in certain foods that are found to upset a person's stomach. So the biggest ones are gluten, onions, garlic, apples. I don't know, it's a pretty random list. Like, it's not like a keto diet, it's very randomized foods. And I found that it's helping a lot. It's very difficult. I'm willing to sell crack for bread at this point. I haven't had bread in a month, pretty much. It is a little bit difficult to uphold, mostly because of the gluten and the onions and the garlic. Those are like the three big things. Like, you don't realize how much those things are in food until you can't have it anymore. I found a whole bunch of recipes online. I'll put a link to just a whole bunch of foods that you can. Oh wow, I'm bleeding. So, for instance, I love ramen, but obviously ramen has gluten, so I can't have it. So I found a recipe for instant ramen, and all it is rice noodles and miso paste, basically. You can add anything else you like, but like, those are the basic elements. I'm not going to show all the recipes that I've done, just because that would make for a very long video. I'm just gonna... That's Jordan, he's eating. I'm just gonna show like good basic foods to start with. Every morning I usually drink tea or a prune juice plus another juice mix. And then oatmeal's been my big breakfast food because it's very versatile. You can make overnight oats, or you can make regular oats, and you can add pretty much anything that you can possibly think of to it. So for instance, this morning I had peanut butter, chocolate chips, almonds, and almond milk in it, and it was pretty yummy. And then for lunch and dinner are the hardest ones. So I've been doing a lot of sandwiches with alternatives for bread. Of course you can get gluten-free bread, but it's pretty pricey and not all the stores have them. So I've been using like cucumber for bread or lettuce wraps. You can use corn tortillas too, but they kind of fall apart. You can do corn tortilla quesadillas, corn tortilla egg things, tacos with those. And then for dinner, what I've been doing is basically just whatever that my boyfriend's mom makes. I just eat it like I just modify it. So if she makes hamburgers, then I'll just have the burger with ketchup and pickles and stuff, but no bun. So it is difficult, but it's not too terrible, and my stomach feels a lot better doing it. So let's jump to some recipes. Alright, now that I've shown you kind of what I've been eating for the past 3-4-ish weeks, I'm going to talk about some tips because there are definitely some things that will help immensely. Of course, this is all based on individuality. IBS is like a really generalized term. Personally, I have IBS-C, so I'm constantly constipated. So some of these tips will not apply at all to IBS-D. And I also have GERD on top of that, so it kind of limits things a lot more. For me personally, like I get really constipated and that will cause nausea, bloating, in general uncomfortability, and it definitely increases around my period pretty heavily. It gets a lot worse. So that's why I do prune juice. I have fiber gummies, just intaking a ton of fiber. So I do like fiber bars. The oatmeal that I talked about is a really great source of fiber. You can put nuts in it. Raisins are really high in fiber. Just a really heavy fiber diet, along with I have Miralax, which you can add to any drink. It's a tiny bit pricey. I just use a very tiny amount because for me personally, I only need like 1/4 of the capful. And then a lot of hot liquids. So I love tea. I have so much tea. So I do a lot of hot tea. It's very good for the constipation. And then your constipation massage. I'll show you guys how to do that. That helps a lot. And it can be kind of uncomfortable to push on your stomach. It's really nice to have a good scented lotion to do it with, so that way you're not going as heavily on your stomach, and that will help move things along. For the nausea, of course, I have nausea pills, but the side effect is constipation. So it's like Do I want short-term solution and in the long run I'm just gonna be more nauseous, or can I live with it for now? Nausea is probably the biggest, most uncomfortable thing, because when you get constipated, it's like nothing's really moving. So when you eat, your stomach's like, what the heck, I can't do anything with this. You feel sick, but you don't feel like you're going to be sick. It's just really uncomfortable. You just kind of want to sit down. You don't want to go out and move around. So if that happens when you're out in public, at work, with friends, it can make life pretty miserable. So I do carry nausea meds with me pretty much everywhere I go, just in case that was to happen. I do have a prescription from for Zofran from my doctor, but I'm trying to get off that one because the constipation side effect is way more intense. So I also have Dramamine, and Dramamine is technically like a, what is that? Is motion sickness. But I find it really helps a lot, and it's also really cheap. It's $5 at Target, and for Target, that helps a lot with the IBS part. And then, I mean, this is kind of a GERD thing too. Laying on your left side is shown to be more helpful because of the anatomy. Your bowel starts on your right side. So if you're sleeping on your right side, it'll just stay there, you know, anatomy. And then for GERD, I have quite a couple of tricks up my sleeve. Gum is probably the biggest one. I used to just get heartburn all the time, and I still do. It's also uncomfortable. And my favorite medication was Zantac, like efficient. I didn't have any side effects. It felt like I got the minty kind, so it felt really nice and cooling on my esophagus as well as my stomach. And then they took it off the market, so it's no longer on the market. I do have Tums. Tums don't really work. So I just chew gum whenever I start getting symptoms, and it sounds really weird, but actually for the most part my symptoms will go away, especially heartburn, because normally when I get heartburn it's really intense, painful, can't even stand up heartburn, and it'll kind of come up into my throat like the acid. So I guess the science behind chewing gum is it increases your salivary glands, salivary, I don't remember how to pronounce it. It increases saliva, so you're swallowing more saliva, which coats the stomach, which can calm it down. So it sounds kind of dumb, but it works really well. So I have gum like in my little bin. Wow, my elbow looked. I have it in my bin over there. I have some in my car. I keep some at work, and I keep some in my backpack. I guess also you could probably do like mints or something too, but I like gum. And then for GERD, I sleep up. I'll show you guys my setup over there. I just have like 2 pillows and then one of the, like the big back supporting pillow. So I sleep on my left side, kind of raised up a little bit, so that way the acid doesn't come back up. Because it's really uncomfortable to wake up in the morning and all you can taste is what you had for dinner last night. It's disgusting. So that's what I do for my GERD and my IBS. I'm trying to think, there's not really too much else. I will say drinking a lot of water also helps. I have a really bad habit of not drinking water. Water. All right, guys, so here's my bed set up. As you can see, that's Jordan's side. This is my side. I have this big black pillow and then 2 more pillows so I can really be seated up. And what I normally do is I take this one and kind of put up my side, and then I lay right there. So I'm laying on my left side, but I've got a little bit of neck support there. I did forget one more tippy thing. This bad boy is my heating pad. Sunbeam, I think is what it said. I got this for $10 at Walmart. I do need a new one because it's starting to make very weird sounds, but it's a lovely heating pad. It's really nice because I get bad back pain with my constipation. It's a really simple one. I know they have more complicated. It's just one setting, but I find this extremely helpful. All right, so I'm going to show you how to do the constipation massage. It's pretty simple. I'm wearing high-waisted, I guess, so you can't see too terribly well. But you're going to want to start in your lower right quadrant, pretty much like this is my hip, right adjacent to the hip. And then your large colon is going to go up all the way to the ribs, around, and down. So you're just gonna want to make nice circular movements all the way up, down, and around. Online it'll tell you to take about 10 minutes to do that. I think that's a little unnecessary. That's kind of a long time to do it. If you feel like you need that long, perfect. You do you. But for me, I just kind of do it until I can feel things moving. If you're doing it correctly, you should be able, especially if you're constipated, you should be able to feel it. And I am so thin that I can usually feel the stool. So right now I can tell it's kind of sitting like right there along my belly button, kind of right there. So I can usually feel like where it is, and I can rub that spot extra and kind of push it along, and that helps really move everything along. And then for this I recommend using lotion. You can do it like dry, where you just rub, but it's more comfortable to use lotion. So I have passion pineapple. I got this one at Walgreens, yeah, for like $5. This one I was given as a gift, but I love anything peppermint, and it smells like crack cocaine. Not really, but I mean, it's addicting. And then I have this one that I got from Target, vanilla brown sugar, and I think I got this one for what, $3? Yeah. This one kind of sucks, but it smells nice. So just get some lotion, rub, and you'll really be able to notice like a big change. You can feel it moving. So yeah, rub your tummies, guys. All right, fellas, that's it. All my IBS fun things. It really makes me sound like a grandma. Rip. But I hope that you all understand better. I hope that this was maybe helpful to people. If anybody is experiencing these symptoms of uncomfortability, you can look this all up online. I highly suggest trying the diet just to see, because you don't necessarily have to have IBS. You could just maybe have a food intolerance and not know it. And that list that I showed, like, it's a very random list of foods that you would never even know. I think one of them is like peaches and mangoes you can't have. Maybe it's mangoes. You would never know. You'd be like, I love mangoes, I eat them all the time, I don't know. And then you don't eat them and you try to and you're like, wow, okay, my stomach does not like that at all. I'm gonna post the link for all the foods and recipes. I guess they're not really recipes, but kind of food ideas to try, because it's very daunting being like, wow, I can't have all of this stuff. What the heck am I gonna eat? I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it was more fun for you than it is for me. So I do have some potential news. I'm not gonna say anything yet, just in case it doesn't go through. But it does pertain to the next video that I was planning on doing. So that one might take a little bit, with school. I guess I'm out of school right now. But with the summer semester upcoming and then full-time work, it's been really hard to record, especially videos like these where it's like longer. Like, I don't make these foods every single day. I might post a different video next, or I might post this kind of renovation video next. In that, it will have some big news. We'll see. I'm very excited and hopeful. But good luck to everybody with IBS. I'm jealous of you people who don't have it, and don't get corona. Peace out, fellas.